Well, the volume pot is back in. I put a new polycapacitor in there. This side's all connected back up. I've redone the power switch contacts because they were pretty rough. So that's all neat and tidy now. Other side, spaghetti junction, all wired back up. So I suppose it's time to get a module back in it. Been on this one probably half a day today, so it's nearing time to call it a day, I think. But I do want to try and get this one in. So let's line it up and pop it in there. Steady. Just working out which way then this goes. That's it, that's that way round. So I've labelled this one up when I refurbished it. You don't want to go back in this one. Yay! At last, there we are. Just needed that little wiggle. Okay, that's the module all soldered back in. Obviously I've got to get the switch panel back in, and I've got to get all these little jumper wires sticking up in the air. Yeah, a bit of a pain, but hey ho. Just trying to think what else I've got to do now. I've obviously got to do the headphone jack, get that sorted. But yeah, just a mass rewire now, really. Try and find out where everything goes. This is real tricky bit now. That's the easy bit done. One new module. It's coming on well. Electrical side is nearly done. Just onto the cosmetics then. Okay, I'm going to do something a little bit different with this one that a lot of people have recommended, but I've never bothered really. I've always used these silly little silver wires that Roberts used originally, but I'm going to use some solid plastic coated wire. I've cut off just a little short length of each one, so I'm going to solder those to those pins, and it gives it a lot more flexibility. I can move the board around, I can solder it in much easier, so that's the plan. That's the plan, Stan, and as he drops one on the floor. So I'm going to do different colour for each one. Just make a note of which one's which before I solder it to the top. Okay, I've tinned all the legs now and bent them at 90 degrees. So I'm going to solder those now onto the pins of the module. Okay, well that's my wires soldered to the board. They are a bit more sturdy than these little things here, so that should help a lot. And what it means, I can solder this in before I screw the board back in, which is quite interesting. Not interesting really, but you know, helps. I've done in different colours as well, just in case. Make sure we get them in the right order. What I'm hoping is that any excess will be taken up and just bend them over to one side, bend them in underneath the switch panel. And being they're insulated, they're not going to do any harm. Come on. Here you go. Always one. There we go. And the white one just seems to want to come right through the hole. That's looking good. So I'm going to pop some solder on those. So flux first. I'm in a mess again, look. You didn't quite see that, did you? Slightly off cam. But yeah, there we are. So I'm going to just snip the tops off of these wires. Keep them down a little bit lower. Just give them a touch up. There we are, so now I should have a fairly flexible, insulated, yeah, no, it does work. So one of the jobs I've got to do is clean this board, so we're going to need to do that with flux cleaner. Yeah, well, that's worked out quite well actually. Pleased with that. Yeah, well, using different colour wires just means you can double check that you've got everyone where it should be. Okay. Right, I'm going to clean up the board underneath here. Then I can pop this back down. I don't think I've got a couple of resistors to put in on this side. I think all the other links are already there. I think. Okay. So Operation Cleanup now. I'm going to get my proper flux cleaner for this because there's so much flux on the board. I've done a full recap on it, so I'm going to need to pop some Got some flu on it. It's a sore subject in this house at the moment, flu. Unfortunately, the bird flu means that our chickens are locked up and they're not happy. But, you know, it'll pass. Right, well, bear with me. All I'm going to do is just spray this on, rub it in with the brush, and then get it off into some blue roll. Right, I've cleaned up the board in behind where the module's going, but one thing I have forgot to do is clean the switches. So luckily I'm still at a stage where I can do that quite easily. What I'm going to do is give them a little squirt down the back of each one. These switches are notorious for playing up, so you really have got to do this. Very clever how they've made these latch. I say certainly if I connected up with those other wires, I wouldn't be able to do this. They'd have been broken off by now. Okay, and the other thing I want to do while I've got the switches like this is I want to clean these buttons. So for that I'm going to use my foam cleaner if I can find it. Give them a good dosing. It's a lot easier to do this now than it is when it's all back together. You just get right in there, so yeah, come out nice. This is a lovely radio. I believe that the chap I bought this from is one of my subscribers as well. He did say that because I did sort of make him an offer on it, and he accepted on the basis that it was going to go to a good home. So thank you very much. It is a lovely radio. In fact, it's probably the best 707 that I've got. Once again, I'm selling it. I don't know why I do that, but you know, I can't keep them all. There. That's all the year's worth of crud removed from them. Still connected to the board. So I can't clean this up yet because I've still got more to do, but the next job is to screw this board in place before you start soldering all the rest of the wires. You've probably heard me say this on many an occasion, but I've just come unstuck with it at one time, and it was a real hassle to sort out. I had to pull it all back out again, purely because when I put it back together the actual knobs weren't straight, because I left doing it up to the last minute. So let's find our with brass washers. There we go, 2 of those. And 2 screws. Just going to pop that back in a minute. Okay, switch bank is back in. A bit of a fiddle that, so I did it off camera really. It's just a fiddly job trying to keep hold of the washer. But what I was getting at is you now need to go for trial fit on the top panel. So popping back in. Everyone's benefiting from my previous mistakes here. That. Okay, so I can see that it's binding on the bottom there. Yeah, so that this side's not too bad, but yeah, the whole switch bank needs to come down a fraction. So again, you must do this before you start soldering, because once it's soldered it goes really rigid and you'll find you won't be able to alter it. So just loosen it, move that side down. You haven't got a lot of movement on this, but there is a bit. Tighten it up. Should put lock washers on there really. No, that's a bit better. Perfect. There we go. That's that bit done. Now I've got to stitch together all this spaghetti. This is a lengthy job, and you need lots of photos for this. Lots and lots and lots of photos. If you haven't taken them, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be emailing me for my photos. Anyway. I don't mind helping out, as probably those that have contacted me know. Quite happy to help. Right. Let's start piecing it back together. I'm going to do the hardest bit first, which is this edge. Do the hardest bit first and the rest of it comes easy. So bear with me, I'm going to get all these wired back up and underneath. You can see my wires that I put in, my little jumper wires. They look really neat in underneath there. I'm pleased with that. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, impressed with that. That will be my main method in future. Right, well I've been busy. The module and switchboard is all back in. Just got to clean up this. Got a few more connections to do once the front panel goes back on. So yeah, that's coming on well. I've cleaned up the outer case, so that's festering in the bathroom at the moment. So I thought I'd do next is the headphone socket, which is renowned on all of these old radios for packing up. So I'm just going to see if I can do it in situ without taking the rubber gasket etc. off. Need a finer screwdriver than that. Let's get a bit of magnification in here and I'll get this prised up. Bear with me. Right, after a lot of messing about and digging and scraping and bending, here is the dreaded headphone socket. There we are. Okay. Actually, not looking too bad. Bit of gunk in it, as you'd expect. Let's get some isopropyl on it, give it a clean up. Yeah, no, it is a bit in need of fiberglass pencil. Not that would have stopped it working, but you never know with these. I'm just cleaning it out with a bit of alcohol now. Make sure that all that crud is gone. It is. Not forgetting to clean the years of grime off of the outside of it. Just put it back together. Let's give that a little tweak outwards. A bit better sprung. Maybe tweaked a little bit too much. There, very basic switch, but very dodgy if it fails. If it fails, your radio stops working. And I say, I have been caught out with that one very recently. Well, that's that. Give the inside of the headphone socket a good clean. There we go. Pop him back in. Bend it back over, and that's done. Nice easy little job. A bigger screwdriver. There we go. Touch more. Just going to tighten that up a minute. I've got to get the light in. Well, I'm just waiting for the case to dry out before I can put some Danish oil on it. So this is pretty much nearly there. Just got to do. I've cleaned the aerial, so I've given that a really good spray with deoxit. It's working perfect. It's nice to see an original aerial on one of these. Just going to do a few little servicing jobs. One is these pulleys. If I can get any of this stuff out. Just a little bit of light oil on them, really, just to help them. That's better already. Brilliant. That's that done. Let's say all the tuning's done within this module here, so there's not a lot you can do. That's the tuning module there. There's a couple of little tweaks we can do later if the channels aren't quite on properly, but overall I think that's pretty much it done. As I say, I'm going to connect up the speaker and everything, but apart from that I'm not far off now. Looking good. So I'm going to go and stick some Danish oil on the sides in a second. Then that'll be left overnight, another 2 coats tomorrow, and that'll be the case finished. I've managed to pull out most of the small imperfections in the front case, so in the front grille. Almost there. Will it work?